Hey everyone, it's Manny. This is one of the questions that I got. I don't get it often, but it's from one of the more analytical people that I know, and I thought it was a really good one, so I thought I would answer it and just kind of share it with everybody because I think it'll help. The question is, why is my payoff greater than my principal balance? Are you trying to roll in closing costs? And the answer to that question is no, I am not trying to roll in closing costs. Unless we specifically discussed it and we talked about the pluses and minuses of rolling in your closing costs and we came up with a plan, my plan going in is to not roll anything into your closing costs. My personal goal is to make your new loan amount exactly what the payoff is. Now, why would your loan payoff be greater than your principal amount? Mortgage interest is collected in arrears. That means you have to live in the house for 30 days, the full month, in order for it to be charged to you. Okay, let me show you how this works. Here is a mortgage statement. You can see here that this is your principal balance. Now, when you look at your mortgage statement right here for the payment for this month, it will have a breakdown of what your principal payment is, your interest payment, and your escrows. The interest payment that is being charged here is for the month prior. So for this statement dated August 1st, the interest that is being charged and collected is for the month of July. Now, if you take this interest payment and you divide it by the days of the prior month, it will show you how much interest that you are paying per day. In this case, you take $1,777.96 and you divide it by 31 days, because that's how many days are in July, and it should be $57.35 per day. Now here's a visual of a calendar. Now let's say if you are refinancing a home and you are closing earlier than the 30th of the month or the last day of the month, and let's say for the sake of this, I am closing you on the 26th of the month. That means that on your loan estimate, the new loan amount should be approximately your outstanding principal plus 26 days of accrued interest. Now, I want to say that typically when we order a loan payoff, it's going to be for the full 30 days of the month. That means that more than likely, when you are getting a loan payoff and you're going to pay off that mortgage, they're going to charge you for 30 days of interest. Now, what should happen is for any days that you are paying interest for in that payment, in that loan payoff, that you did not use, let's say you're closing on the 26th, and then you've got 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, so 5 days of prepaid interest that you're paying. If you don't use those days, it should be refunded to you by the old mortgage servicer. So what I did with the first few IRRRLs that came in is I knew that the payoff was going to be greater than the principal amount. So I took the principal amount and I added 1.5 payments to it. So if you're in my first grouping, it may seem a little higher than what you are expecting or what I'm going to calculate in this video. And I did this because I knew that I would be able to adjust the amount later once we got the payoff from your old mortgage servicer. So using this mortgage statement, I'm going to show you how I would calculate it now. I would take, based on this mortgage statement, as long as I have the most recent one, I can do this. Based on this mortgage statement, I would take the outstanding principal. So that's going to be $305,228, 528.96, and I would add the interest that you're going to pay for the month, which in this case is going to be $1,777.96, and that should be right around what your mortgage payoff is. Let's see what that comes out to be. So let's calculate this and see how close it would be. So $305,220 plus $1,777 with some cents would be $307,006. Now, let's see what the actual payoff amount would be. Based on this payoff, they're using the unpaid principal of $304,833, and they're charging the accrued interest of $1,692. Total payoff, $306,536. Now, what I'm thinking is, since I am working off of a July payoff, that means, and this one's from August, so that means I'm a month behind. So I would have to subtract 1 month's principal payment. So if I did that, so my answer of $307,006, subtract the principal payment of $295. That means the total would be $306,711. So that's closer to the payoff of $306,536. So that's only about $175 off. That's not bad. So once again, I could only be as good as the data that I'm provided. Sometimes I don't have the complete picture. I don't have all the documents that I need, so I'm just kind of working off of my own best guesses. An example of that would be person that I was working with, they are deployed, so I wasn't able to get statements and things like that right away. And what that means is I have to work off of what I've got or what can be provided. So one of the ways that I'm able to do that is to, when I pull credit, I can see what their principal, or when I pull credit, I can see what the credit bureau is reporting as their current balance, and I can see their monthly payment. But it doesn't break it out the same way it does on a mortgage statement. So what I'll do, and here's an example of it. So this loan balance is showing $305,228 with a payment of $2,749. So what I typically would do in this scenario is I'll just add 1.5 payments. So that's what I was doing. Now I'm probably gonna refine it a little bit, even if I have less data than what I would like. Ultimately, what I'm trying to say is when it comes to the loan amount on your initial loan estimate, it's going to vary a little bit. And I just want you to know that my goal is to make it as cost-free as possible. It's just that initial loan estimate, I'm going off of my best guesses based on the data that I'm provided. If you want something more concrete, it's just the amount of data that I'm provided with as to how close I can get on that number. What I tell people is this is a refinance. And what that means to you is basically you can walk away at any point. You can walk away all the way up until the day of closing. And actually you can walk away all the way up until the day of closing plus 3 days. It's called the right of rescission. So on a VA IRRRL, you have closing plus 3 days. So if we get to that point where you have your final CD and you're looking at it and the numbers just don't make sense to you, first, I would say reach out to me so I can try to explain them. Second, you still have time. You have 3 days post-closing to say, no, I don't like this. I'm going to go ahead and not do this. So keep that in mind. Like, especially on these cost-free refinances, like there's so much that needs to kind of go into it numbers wise. If it was me, I would be patient and wait until I get that final closing disclosure and take a look at it and really decide if it makes sense for me to go ahead and refinance or not. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for taking time out of your day to watch this video. Hopefully it was helpful. Hopefully it cleared something up. And if you have any questions, reach out to me. If it feels weird and you just want to leave a comment, go ahead and leave a comment. I'll try to get to it. Or if you have any ideas for additional questions that you would want to know or additional video ideas, throw it in the comments and I'll do my best to try to make something out of it. So thank you very much, and I'll talk to you again soon.